Hi there, it's Nick Garner from Invesmore, and here's a very quick tutorial on our mapping system. So, we use something called Kibana, and it's very powerful. It sits on something called Elasticsearch, and Elasticsearch is a system that big companies like Netflix use for information retrieval. So it's very good at piling lots of data together and then visualizing the data. So here we have a map, and you will have logged in by now. And if you're a client, of course, you get a login password so you can see all this stuff and play around with the data. So the the way the map works is that we have layers of information, and depending on how deep you go, that determines what you see and how granular it gets. The other thing to think about with this is the way it filters information. So if you don't have filters, then you have noise and you can't work out what's good or bad or whatever. So filters are really critical for helping us work out the good stuff. So let's re-enable that. And what you'll see as we zoom in is that different bits of information will come through. So at this level, you can see some of our contender properties, and you can also see capital growth per postcode district for a 1 year period. So it's a fairly arbitrary metric, but it gives you a rough idea of which areas are good, doing well, and which aren't. So let's just hide that layer for a minute, and now you can see how different areas are doing in the country. So this is quite a useful feature, but it only touches the surface, as they say. So let's just zoom in again. So we're going to go into have a look at Manchester. And you can see there are lots of areas in Manchester which are doing well over the last year. So that's really good. Now, when you mouse over an icon, you will see a picture of a property. So let's just keep zooming in till we get, there's a property, and oops, there you go, there's a picture. And it gives you a bit of information about the property and some of the metrics we use. I'll go into a lot more detail on each of the metrics in other videos. But as you can see here, the deeper down we go, the more information shows up. So this is MSOA data. So it's essentially 7,000 people, or an average of 7,000 people, maybe 3,000 properties. And this is information about the capital growth over time. So we can zoom in again, and let's do that. So let's pick this area here, and you can see capital growth figures for different time periods for LSOAs. So you get roughly 6 to 8 LSOAs per MSOA. And this is a super output area. So you have a middle super output area, a lower super output area. But let's go a little deeper again. So as we start to zoom in, what you then begin to see are these little icons. And each of these icons represent demographic information about this little patch. And it's very important to know this stuff because it determines whether an area is a good area to buy in. For example, is it in the middle of a council estate, or is it very impoverished or very wealthy? How good the English comprehension in the area is. That's an important indicator for a local market. And as you zoom in even further, you can see very detailed crime data. All right, then. So that's the first installment, and I'll see you on the next one. All right. Thank you.